96.7 KCAL rocks. It is that time to talk to our guy, Pep, about some sports. Pep, we thought last weekend was a great weekend. What about this one?
I feel like I'm sometimes the overly dramatic guy, right? But I think it's safe to say that might have been the best weekend of NFL football that we have ever seen, with the Saturday games, the Sunday games, all of them either coming down to a game-winning field goal as time expired or the overtime game in Kansas City. So before we dig in a little bit deeper on these games, best weekend of football ever? Question mark?
Boy, it is definitely up there. I can't remember games that good for that consistent amount of time throughout the weekend.
Yeah, all four games were solid, and it was nice that that was spread out to Saturday, to Sunday. It was a great weekend of football.
Yes, it was.
Besides the dramatic finishes in all of the games, we know this. The defending Super Bowl champion is out. The number one seeds are out. And Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, they are out. And are they coming back next season? Like, there's so many questions after a wild, wild weekend of NFL playoffs. Maybe none bigger than the Rams and the Buccaneers. It looked like, for sure the Rams were going to win, and it looked like for sure they gave the game away, and then they came back at the very end. That long pass from Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp, setting up the game-winning field goal in Tampa Bay to knock out Tom Brady and the Bucs. Guys, that was one of the wildest games, and that game in front of the Kansas City game was probably the best day of football ever.
Definitely. I'm really happy for Matt Stafford. You really feel like he's busted his way out of Shawshank after being in Detroit for so many years. So now we can actually kind of see how far he can take his talents, if you will. So we'll see what happens. I really thought he was on the path, no offense against your Niners, to go sting Mr. Aaron Rodgers after getting beat in Detroit for 12 years. But Aaron Rodgers is out. Either way, Matt Stafford moves on.
I'm very sort of caught off guard with how excited Patrick is for a matchup between the Rams and the 49ers. Like, you figure as a Seahawks fan, I could see you being very bitter about that. I think I would be. If it was like Cowboys and the Giants, I'd be like, oh, I don't care about this at all.
Yeah, definitely. I think I must have more hate for the 49ers. My wife's family and all that. But they are in it.
Nice.
Yeah, we knew from the very beginning the NFC West had some really good football teams going into this year. And if you would have told me Arizona was going to go, be in the NFC Championship game when it was all said and done, or maybe even Seattle at that point, who knows? But to have the 49ers against their bitter rival, the Rams, with a spot in the Super Bowl on the line. And again, this was the last regular season game. The 49ers had to win in OT against the Rams just to get into the playoffs. And I'm kind of a Marvel nerd. Like, I love my superheroes. And I kept thinking of that line from Thanos. It's like, after all of this, where does it lead you? Right back here to me. So it's like the 49ers had to fight and get into the playoffs against the Rams at the end of the regular season. And where does that lead them? Right back to Los Angeles, right back to SoFi, and now a Super Bowl appearance on the line, man. It's going to be epic.
Honestly, you know why I want the Rams to win? Because Aaron Donald ruined my season when he broke my quarterback's finger. So if at least he's going to ruin my season, I'd rather have him just win the whole thing. Right. And Matt Stafford can get his crap off his back. So I'm cool with it.
It was unbelievable. So the Rams nearly gave the game away to the Buccaneers at the end, right? They almost just completely melted down. Well, on Saturday night, the 49ers on the road at Green Bay, the Packers were doing the same exact thing, except for the Packers weren't able to find a way out like the Rams did. They actually did give it away to the 49ers. The 49ers took it, and they won 13-10 on that game-winning field goal. And I got to say, guys, as a 49er fan, I'm super pumped up about this 49ers versus Rams game. But I think a lot of football, fans were thinking Tom Brady going on the road to the frozen tundra in Green Bay, like two Hall of Famers, head-to-head NFC Championship game, and we're not going to get it. But I'm not complaining. 49ers and Rams, that's what we got.
I think we get seduced by how great a thrower Aaron Rodgers is. But the fact is even though he scored first, and it looked like, Aaron Rodgers is going to do his thing where he can get out front and he can just front run. If you can eventually get him down, even if it's only by 3 points, he cannot battle back. And that's exactly what happened. The 49ers hung around for the entire game in those gnarly conditions, and they got up on the freaking Packers. And of course, Aaron Rodgers did not battle back, which he has never been able to do, and everybody wants to sidestep that for some reason.
And now we're going to be sitting here all offseason wondering what is next for Aaron Rodgers, what is next for Tom Brady.
That's right. We have to see retirement, Denver, the Steelers,
Exactly.
Stay where they are. Who knows?
Yeah, will Aaron Rodgers be back in Green Bay? Will Tom Brady be back, period? Like all those question marks going in to the offseason. And Patrick, you brought up a great point about Green Bay. The Packers, they scored on their opening drive against the 49ers. Like they marched down and made it look easy. And I'm like, oh man, this is not good. This is going to be a long night. Like I hope the 49ers can keep this close. And they did exactly that. But I had no idea it was going to be a 13-10 game. Because Green Bay made it look so easy on the opening drive, I thought for sure they were going to pile up some points, and they didn't.
40, maybe the worst thing that could have happened to them was to score that thing so easy. So they thought, okay, we're cool. Exactly. We got it. And then they got beat.
Let the wide open.
Yep.
So, guys, that's the NFC. Let's take a quick peek over at the AFC. We have the Chiefs and the Bengals together in the AFC title game, and that had drama in their divisional games as well. Again, one of those epic matchups that came down to overtime between the Chiefs and the Bills in Kansas City. You know, there was moments in the fourth quarter, probably in the span of just a couple minutes, where for sure the Bills were going to win, and then for sure the Chiefs were going to win, and then for sure the Bills were going to win again. Got to overtime, and the Chiefs pulled it out. I don't know what it is about the Chiefs. Sometimes I feel like they're not the best team, but they always find a way to win. They're like a cat with 9 lives. Like they always just land on their feet. I don't know how they do it.
The Chiefs figured out a way to win that game, and I know it sucks to say it, but if you're the Bills, is this the best you can feel about a loss?
Well, it's got a lot.
I think it is.
A lot of people are now questioning the overtime, and should the overtime be revamped once again? What do you think, Pep?
You know what? I always bounce things off of my wife because she's just a very, very casual sports fan, and she's like, "Wait, well, what if the Bills score?" And I'm like, well, they don't get a chance. They don't get the football. She's like, well, what do you mean they don't get the football? I'm like, well, if the Kansas City Chiefs score a touchdown, it's over. And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. So You're right, 40. I jump on social media, and the big loser this weekend was the overtime rule. Everyone was just burying the NFL, saying this rule does not work. The Bills should have a chance. It's not fair, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I would have loved to have seen the Bills got that back. The football back and a chance to at least tie. This thing could have went all night long. They could have went back and forth literally all night long.
They could have, but eventually somebody's got to lose.
It's funny because, I mean, 3 longtime football fans like us 3, I know all 3 of us like, yeah, but at least it's not as bad as it used to be where you could win the coin toss, really just get 20 yards and kick a long field goal.
And win the game. That is true.
Like, the current rules are so much better, but when the casual people are like, why? This isn't fair. Maybe it's time to look at it and see it from their eyes.
I will be honest. I had no idea what the problem was. I was like, okay, everything's cool. Then with few rules, I was like, what's the big bite? What's going on? And then I was like, oh, okay.
Might be time to take a look at those rules.
Yeah. You know what? I agree. Like, I think at least the team should each get 1 possession on offense, even if the first team scores a touchdown. But maybe they will revisit that in the offseason. Who knows? So we got the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and then the Bengals back for the first time since 1988. The Bengals going on the road, knocking off the number 1 seed, Tennessee. I did not see this happening this season, but here we are.
Pep, we've got to talk about Cincinnati. 40 knows himself. It's the only city he's been to where he said the city really sucks. There's not much going on in Cincinnati. We have a former coworker, Donna, who lives there. We need to contact her to see if they are alive in Cincinnati because they are partying their asses off as they should.
We don't know.
Bengals mania, man. Like, they've got Joe Burrow, they got Jamar Chase, but if you told me, the Ravens, or let's say even the Browns, were going to get to the AFC Championship, I probably would have believed that more so than the Bengals being an AFC Championship game. But they made it, man. They went on the road and they beat the Raiders in the first round. They beat the Raiders and the Titans. So they're a good team.
Get that cigar out.
Lots of chili bean eating on spaghetti.
Yes, there is. I give Joey B some credit, man. I was very surprised. And that young kicker who just said, well, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship game, and ran out and made the kick.
Loved it.
I saw how young he was, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it. He sure did.
Yeah, he said that before he kicked it. Like, that's unbelievable to be that confident.
3 opposing kickers ended the home team season this weekend. So it was a wild, wild weekend as we go into the final 4 of the NFL, if you will.
Divisional championships.
Yeah,
here in LA.
I was ready to come in this morning and say all 4 road teams won this weekend. I was ready to say that, and then the Chiefs had to screw things up.
Now, Pat, before we get you out of here, is there any chance that you find your way to that NFC Championship game to see your Niners?
I would love to. If someone out there has a connection, hit me up out there, because the 49ers trying to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl, that'd be a big moment. So let's take over SoFi, am I right?
49, we're checking on some of the prices right now. It's around like $600. That's not that bad, dude.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I got to convince the wife about that one, though.
And the Super Bowl could be thousands. This will save you a ton of money.
What a deal.
It's
a great deal. Check us out, Inland Sports social media, Inland Sports, the YouTube channel. That is Inland_sports.
Thanks, Pat.